Here we go. It's last week of the auction, America's favorite top 10 list of auction results from around the globe as hand-selected by me, Josh Levine, your host and guide to the world of auctions, and this is episode 6 of season 2, and we just broke the internet. It's the hottest YouTube series and social media sensation in the world. Okay, the auction world. It's like you took a puppy from a Sarah McLachlan video, the best of hoarders and pickers, put on your tinfoil hat, brought over cookies and cheesecake, and said, let's make Emmy Award-winning television. And yes, I've got a great show for you all today, and I have taken my medication, so I'll be calm. Anyway, welcome back, subscribers, and hello, newbies. We got the goods, amazing auction results, fun facts, and so much more. I am telling you, there is nothing more interesting in the auction world, even during this apocalypse. If you are new or a member of the Unsullied, before you go, subscribe below, give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment or two, and please share, because sharing is caring. I have the links below to everything I discuss, all my social media channels, and where you can find out more about these great auction houses. So here we go. It is last week at the auction. Number 10 is a beautiful Currier and Ives print. This wonderful example brought $800 at Cottone and Geneseo, New York, titled The Grandest Palace Drawing Room Steamers in the World and copyrighted 1878. The values of these amazing examples of 19th century American lithography have been on the decline, as you know, and I'm hoping this is a sign of life, as they're not making any more of these. Well, that's the story here. The truth is, many of these are being reproduced, and what led to the originals like this falling in values on these originals. It seems the new generations don't care if it's original or a facsimile print. I say nothing beats the real thing, but when the real thing became unaffordable, reproductions came out, and that's what happened. This happens, and to this day, with so many things, and I guess, you know, when we all live in the Matrix, it won't matter if it's a reproduction or not. It'll be a computer simulated thing living in. Okay, I say, if you can, always go with the real thing, the original, especially if investment's part of your passion, and it's a buyer's market now, so do it. Speaking of which, number 9, 1973 Fender Music Master electric guitar. This baby brought $1,000 at Leland Little. And I ever told you that 1970s Fenders give me anxiety and depression? Well, if not, I'll tell you why. I used to own a vintage music shop and sold mostly used equipment in the 1990s. We had so many 70s Fenders like this in every color you would imagine, all the rare ones, and we would sell them for $75 to $125. Nobody wanted them. I had a wall of these things. Metal was king, and no one saw Nirvana and the grunge movement coming and how it would make these frankly mediocre instruments desirable, really for their tone or particular sound. It's nuts to see what some of these models sell for these days, and no, I'm not bashing Strats and Tellys before my guitar nerd friends jump all over me. It's these 70s Mustangs, and you know what I'm talking about, Jaguars. You know, show me one that stays in tune for a song or two and I'll shut up. Okay, I'm off my musical soapbox. What I'm really saying is, get in your time machine, go to my old store, buy all the guitars on the Wall of Shame. That's what we used to call it, the Wall of Shame, and sell them now. It'd be like having Google stock. Number 8, a beautiful Handel Arts and Crafts table lamp that sold for $3,500 at Cottone in Geneseo, New York. This piece is a great representation of arts and crafts, and I wanted to point out the value here. It's not Tiffany lamp money, but quite respectable and often missed at antique shows, etc. There seems to be if it's not Tiffany, it's like $300 to $500 for period pieces like this amongst appraisers even in their mindsets. You know, and I've noticed that especially these days, so pay attention for this arts and crafts stuff. Okay. Number 7 is an 1891 $2 Treasury Note that brought $5,000, and guess where? Of course, One Great Deal Auctions in Meridian, Idaho. I swear they might have a time machine where they go back and get all this currency. I'm just saying. Maybe there's a vortex there. No, it's not in Sedona. Anyway, let's keep moving. Nothing to see here. I've always wanted one of these. Number 6 is an Edison stock ticker tape machine, and it brought $7,000 at Donley Auction in Union, Illinois. So I won't be having one of these anytime soon. But anyway, invented in 1867, the paper ticker machines they really became obsolete in the 1960s as TV and early computers began to transmit financial information. The concept, though, still lives on in the scrolling electronic tickers you see on news and financial channels. So they're just as cool. Anyway, number 5 is an impressive result. It's a North Carolina Federal painted hunt board that sold for $8,250 at Leland Little. It was a 19th century period beauty that was meticulously restored, along the way, and what a pleasant surprise. This is like 1980s antique store money. This was like the heyday. And I love reporting because I'm seeing antique furniture prices trend up. The good stuff is bringing good money and people are starting to appreciate period pieces again. Maybe America is great again. Maybe a comet is headed for the earth to destroy us. Number 4 is a beauty and quite rare. It is a Polyphon coin-operated Concerto Orchestrion, and it brought $14,000 at Donley's Auction in Union, Illinois. Almost 10 feet tall, certainly impressive. Can you imagine if this was your jukebox back then? Hey, what's a jukebox? When this was your MP3 player back then? Am I giving you a sideways tip here? What I'm saying is certain models of giant Panasonic boom boxes will one day be worth $10,000 and more. Yeah, you think I'm nuts? This just sold for $1,850. Nostalgia is money. That sounds like a new show to me. Nostalgia is money. Okay, number 3, a Chinese inlaid hardstone brush pot just sold for $27,000 at Abell's in LA. Yes, this 7.5-inch tall brush pot showed us that calligraphy brushes can require some very expensive vessels. Because I think when you sell for this much, you're no longer a pot, you're a vessel. You know the old saying, you don't have a pot to blank in, maybe you have a vessel. This just continues to illustrate one of my weekly themes. Chinese antique values at auction are the Wild West. All right, look at this China set. China, coming in at number 2, 60-piece Royal Copenhagen in the Flora Danica pattern brought $35,000 at Geneseo in Detroit. That's the only way I can say it. It's been called one of the world's most prestigious and luxurious porcelain. Many people consider it to be the finest in the world. It's still highly prized today and the sign of wealth. The original service is still in the Danish royal family. And speaking of royalty, basketball royalty, number 1, Kobe Bryant's original Chinese theater cast handprints just sold for $60,000 at Julian's in Beverly Hills. Tragedy and rarity in collectibles can create a unique demand, and these sure check the boxes. They were from the Chinese theater in Hollywood that's famous for all the stars. Kobe was actually one of the first sports figures to ever do this. The honor was, generally for movie stars only. So February 19, 2011, these were the test pressings done before the live event. Quite unique, and you're only going to find stuff like this at auction. So now you know what happened last week at the auction. And it's time for this week's viewer email, and I hope it's better than last week's. Let's see. This week's question comes from Kevin D. of Columbus, Ohio, and he asks, great tip on the, he doesn't ask, he starts with a statement. Okay, great tip on the audiophile stuff, but how do you look it up quick when you're in an estate sale? Okay, it is a great question. Well, there's pay apps that are very good, your pay apps like WorthPoint, AskArt, ArtNet, but I'm all about the free sites. eBay's app works pretty good for searching sold stuff, but I like Live Auctioneer's app the best. It has a quick search and quick price results, and you can sort it by the highest price, whatever. Everything you should need to know is right there. Just take a few minutes getting to know how to use the app, but it's free, download it, and you can look up historic auction prices. Every appraiser uses it. Great question, Kevin, and I hope that helped. Thanks, everyone. Do not forget to email me your questions, josh@joshlevinespeaks.com, where you too can send me any and all questions. And remember, if you enjoy the show, subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Check out all the great auction houses I talked about in today's show, and over the last few weeks, I got all their links down there. And until next week or last week at the auction.